Okay, the problem I see in urban schools is that they're overcrowded in the classrooms. There's too big of a teacher to student ratio. Um, they need to hire more teachers and be able to keep them, and they need to be very qualified teachers. They could use mentors and volunteers to help relieve some of the pressure on the teacher so that she could have more one-to-one contact with her students, and the students would feel more involved in the class. Uh, Motivation seems to be another problem. Students are not pushed by their parents or by themselves to reach to their full potential. Some students are doing just what it takes for them to get by. If the schools were able to provide awards, to make challenges for these students to reach their dreams, to bring in mentors to talk to these students that have reached their dreams, and to show students that no goal is too high to reach if they would work hard.
I think the biggest obstacles that urban teachers and students face are that the teachers are not given tools to teach effectively, and teachers have to take on more responsibilities while wealthier districts have the necessary funds to meet students' needs. This can lead to a high turnover rate. I think that one way to overcome that is to offer more incentives and better benefits to keep good teachers that are motivated and dedicated to teaching. Um, Better incentives and better benefits decrease the rate in which the teachers, better benefits and better incentives lead to the decrease in turnover rate of new teachers. Um, I believe that education should be a three-way partnership between the parent, teacher, and student. Um, yeah.
One of the obstacles that urban students face is a lack of good teachers willing to educate them. Many urban students deal with unstable households, and the one place that can offer them stability is their school. But stability can only be achieved if the teacher has good classroom management skills. Students should not be going home to chaos and then returning to chaos the next day. Urban students deserve better than this. They deserve to have a caring teacher that keeps them engaged in meaningful educational tasks. That way there won't be time for discipline problems to happen. If a student is actively engaged in their learning, they won't have idle time to get into trouble, which can be an obstacle for the teacher. Many urban teachers leave because of classroom discipline problems. Perhaps the teacher needs to look in a mirror and ask, am I the cause of any discipline problems in the class? Many teachers do not spend time self-reflecting and making the necessary changes to increase student engagement.
One of the major issues facing urban school districts and communities today is the relationship between teachers, students, and students' parents. There's a lot of breakdown in communication. Parents aren't aware, therefore parents are no longer involved in the schooling of their children as much as they once were. How this can be solved is that schools can work to reach out to parents, especially those of different languages and cultures, and draw them into the school district, potentially strengthening the bonds between parent and student and between parent and teacher. That would be one way to A, raise test scores, and B, have a stronger sense of community within larger school districts. Another major issue facing larger school districts is the lack of community involvement. A lot of times communities look at schools and they see them as educating their students, but they don't see them as needing anything because most public schools are funded by the government. However, there is a lack of government funding, and lots of schools could use help from their community in order to raise funds and supply more tools for better education for their students.
In urban communities, teachers face issues such as funding and support. Urban school districts and Title I schools are expected to perform high, but usually lack resources that other school districts have. Both teachers and students also need support, and teachers lack that from administration, while students lack support at home. I think we need to do a better job of communication. This issue is, and these issues, and hopefully we can start resolving.
I think the major obstacle that our students face here in this community is not getting the basic needs met. I always think of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and it explains the fact that they have to get all of their basic needs such as food, water, shelter met before they're able to go on and get those self-actualization or any other higher functioning goals. They have to have their basic needs met first. And with a lot of the parents here in this community, they have a difficult time with getting their basic needs for the children. And it's hard for us teachers and mental health workers and parents to expect for those students to be able to turn in homework on time when they're not getting fed, when they're not being able to get enough sleep and things like that. So I think it's a part of the teachers and the community health, mental health members to kind of help them with their mental health, their basic needs.